Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Talk the Ting with myself, Hadley Joseph, and Dwayne George, the place where we talk about Dominicans and their accomplishments. We share their story with you. For those of you who want to find inspiration and gain knowledge, today or this evening we have none other than the queen herself, queen of Booyah music, Carlyn XP, the reigning two-time Booyah monarch of the Commonwealth of Dominica, the reigning groovy monarch of Dominica, first runner-up power soca monarch Dominica, and we can go on and on. But I'll just say one more thing. The one who has been giving us some much needed musical therapy through these trying times, Carlyn XP. Welcome to Talk the Ting.
Hi guys. Thank you for having me.
Okay.
Thanks for coming on. Definitely appreciate you coming on.
Before we continue, we're gonna raise our drinks. Whatever drink you have, it could be water. Respect the Carlyn XP.
Y'all know I always run in on the Booyah water. That's what I run on. Okay, so that's it. Cheers.
Yeah, let's have a drink. So let's get into it. The question that we ask all of our guests from the get-go: who is Carlyn XP?
Wow. That's what you ask all your guests. Who is Carlyn XP?
Well, who they are? Tell me, who is Carlyn XP?
Well, Carlyn XP is a wife. Carlyn XP is a mom. Carlyn XP is a domino person. Carlyn XP is the Booyah queen. Carlyn XP is a registered nurse.
Wow.
That's a lot of things, boy. That's
for one person, I know, right?
That's a lot. So it's interesting, right? It's interesting because we have you on the show, right? And I mean, one of the reasons is because you're obviously an artist. But
yeah,
one of the first things you said is you're a wife, which is interesting to me.
Yeah. Wow, so
that kind of shows me in some kind of way like where your priorities lie. Am I wrong with that assumption?
I mean, certain things you might want in your life, it may not come in the certain order that you may want it, but then you always have to know what takes priority. No matter what you want to achieve, whenever you get it, you also have to learn to prioritize what comes first and second and so on in your life.
My partner may be smiling, but when he hear that come first.
Are you kidding me, Hadley? Yeah, so that's what it is.
So that's good. I mean, and you said a couple other things, right? So you're a registered nurse, you're a domino player, which is very interesting to me because honestly, I've tried to learn how to play domino, and I really I don't call it boot. I can't.
It's a cole boot. Well, a lot of people who hear, especially women playing domino, they be like, sounds like yeah, play domino is cole boot and thing. But until you get on the table with that person and you be like, oh, oops, gotta watch out.
Yep.
But at least he was honest.
So with that said, right? So let's go back to some of the music. How did you get into music? How did you realize your love for performing and music as an art form?
Well, I mean, from very young, I always loved singing. I always loved, just doing music, practicing to certain artists. Most preferably Mikkel, I always used to listen to Mikkel's music, and try to sing like her and hit those high notes and, just be like, yeah, I want to be like that one day, and I've been singing from very young. I was in my church choir. I went through a couple bands, in my young days, and um, I always knew that I wanted to be an entertainer, but sometimes when you have when your parents is like, no, you have to go down a certain path in life. You have to be something, they don't really consider us musicians as, having music as a career, you know. You have to be a doctor, you have to be a nurse, you have to be a lawyer, you have to be, that would be considered a profession. You understand? So, I mean, I always knew I wanted to do the singing, but when you're not paying for your own education, you have to follow what
you don't have a choice. You don't have a choice.
you don't have a choice.
At least, at least for a while.
For a while, yeah.
So you mentioned that you sang in choirs, you sang in different bands, but
yeah.
When so you found out that you wanted to do music, but there were a lot of things before Carlyn XP. So can you give us, are there different bands? How many, were you in any band before Carlyn XP?
Yes, definitely. I mean, I was in a young band called Modify. It's a group of us from Jerdale. I wasn't really in the band, but I did a little something with them. Then I did with Energy Band. I did with Caribbean Vibes, and then I played a little bit with Fanatic Band. Not a little bit, a plenty bit.
Boy, they couldn't wait to bring Fanatic.
Let me tell you,
wait to bring Fanatic into it.
You know what I mean? He was just waiting for me to get to, like, when are you going to get to the Fanatic part? Like, what are you waiting for?
That's my band, yo.
You sound like I should have just started and ended with Fanatic.
Yeah, man. Just say I was in Fanatic, and let's move on.
And that's it.
Yeah, man.
No, I couldn't. I was in a few bands, even if it wasn't for a long time, maybe about a year or two, and then that was about it, But I spent a couple of time with other bands, and then Fanatic was the band that I've been with the longest until I decided to go solo.
So were you always the lead singer? Were you back up at some point, or
in Fanatic?
No, in any of the bands that you played in.
Well, the bands that I was in was really like back up, and it was like, I would just be in the background, still singing and thing, because I was still shy to it. I didn't really want to go at the front. When I'm at the front, I feel like I just go and pass out, and all the butterflies in there, and I really couldn't do it. So I was very much comfortable in the background, until I was thrown into the sea and I had to sink or swim.
All right, that's good. That's good. So would you say you got your love of music from somebody in your family, or you just listening to music growing up? Like, where did you develop that love for music?
Oh my God, I have a lot of aunties they were all part of a choir, so music was always in the home. Like, we would wake up. I know certain country songs, like I hear them when I walk in the street, and I'm like, why do I know the lyrics to these songs?
Yeah, I laughing.
Country songs,
Yo, I'm laughing. I'm laughing because I was at a little barbecue with a partner of mine a couple of weekends ago, and we were listening to Lucky Dubby, and I'm telling him, like, dude, in my adult life, I maybe never listened to Lucky Dubby, but I know all those words by heart.
Yes,
all the songs
and you're
by
like,
heart.
why do I know them? But it's because they were playing in your head so much, and like every Sunday, every weekend, we used to wake up to loud music. Like the whole village would be like hearing the songs, and we learned them Dolly Parton and Kenny Rogers, like, Pat Ross, all the, like, Carlyn, how do you know all these things? Hey, they were instilled in you whether you wanted to or not. So I always grew up in a house where music was part of the household, and, it was just instilled in me from a long time.
All right, that's good. So growing up, which was that one artist? Who was that one artist? I know you mentioned Mikel earlier on, but
yeah,
who was that other than Mikel? I would say, who was that one artist that you kind of idolized and you said, one day I maybe want to work with this person, or or something like that?
Beyonce.
Beyonce.
Well, Beyonce alive.
She still is. There's still a chance.
Can still happen, you know.
Yeah.
It still happen.
There's still a chance, you know. There's still a chance.
Of course. So you since we spoke about fanatic, and then you use that term thrown into the sea.
Yes.
And somebody
Sink
asked
or swim.
Somebody asked on the group who threw you into the sea or what sea. But it's interesting how you, and I know the story, so I want you to share it. It's interesting how you became a member of the band.
Fanatic.
A lot of people speculated as to how you ended up being a member, and they were all wrong. But how did you eventually become a member of the band?
Well, I mean, at the time when Fanatic was, Fanatic, going out, playing at different venues, mainly hotels and so on and so forth. Carlyn and I was kind of like seeing each other, so I would go to different shows that the band was having. I was not a part of it, but I mean, I could sing. I was in Caribbean vibes and what have you. And then one time, their lead singer did not show up. Their lead singer could not make it to the gig. And so, I mean, 15 minutes before a gig, you have to do something, people, you have down payments already paid and, something gotta happen. But seeing that I was already, going here, there with the band, I kind of knew some of the songs that they were singing, some of the songs that they would perform. So, hey, can you kind of save the day, please? And that's how I ended up, going in front and singing and, that was my first solo gig, helping out a situation, and then those guys were like, okay, cool. Since that you did it on yourself, they had this great idea. Cornell was very much not included. He never wanted me in Fanatic band ever.
Fact.
And these guys were like, we've never had a band where you had 2 lead female vocalists. So this is something that was new. This is something that was creative. This is something that you never had it before. So let's do this. And that is what they were going for. So this is how I ended up being in Fanatic band. But Cornell never wanted me there. I felt so bad.
I remember having a talk with him about that, but I'll share that with you offline.
Oh God. You said talk the thing, hardly, or talking the thing.
So talk the thing, hardly.
No, hardly. Don't talk the thing.
Since you did mention that I remember telling him, yo, that's your lady, you're dating. Do you think that she's going to mess up something that you put your heart and soul into? That was one thing that I told him. I was like, yo, try it out. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But it's a great idea to have the 2 of them, So, yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is that, though, like sometimes when you have people who are dating or married or whatever in any kind of institution, not just necessarily a band or whatever, sometimes you may have a little, I don't know, like a little, you might feel a little tension from the other people around. They might feel like you're being, sympathetic towards that person, or, you might be letting that person get away with certain stuff. And, other people in the band might condemn it for whatever it is that they're doing, So just to avoid any of that kind of bacchanal, that's one of the reasons why he didn't want me in the band.
Well, I can attest that you didn't get preferential treatment. You got the least amount. You got the least amount of rehearsals.
Y'all beat me up.
So with that said, right? So you mentioned the lead singer not showing up, and then you having to kind of, fill in, I guess I could say. And
yeah.
How do you feel that night though? Because I could just imagine myself, right, being in your shoes. Like the kind of butterflies I would have, they would be moths. They wouldn't just be butterflies.
So be moths?
Yeah, boy, moths, my brother. So, how did you feel, that night? And then, at the end of the night, did you really come up the stage and say, you know what, actually, I think I could do this. How did you feel?
I mean, the butterflies were there, but it was more in us. I think the fact that I just wanted to help Connor out, like these guys, like, what are we going to do now? We have everybody there, and I think it was around Christmas time, right, Hadley?
Yeah.
It was a Christmas gig, and everybody's there with their dinner, and then what are you going to do? So I think it was for me the sense of just helping out, doing something when you can actually do something to help the situation. It take over the whole butterflies and everything, and then at the end of the day I was like, okay, that's it. My work here is done, only to find out, nope, you're just starting.
You're just starting.
Yep.
So with the pressures, or maybe I can even use the word, the disappointments in the music industry in Dominica, and not just disappointments for you, but for everybody in the music business. What drives you to do what you do? Like, what is it that makes you want to keep on doing that?
My fans, the people that call me, or the people that send me a message. It could be any little simple message in my inbox on Facebook, on Instagram, on those that have my WhatsApp, my email, whatever, just to say thank you. You really made my day. You're doing a good job. Keep it up. Just the simplest thing, to let you know that you are doing something good, and that somebody, it could be one person that appreciates you. That is my driving force.
Sounds good.
So what kind of artist do you see yourself as, in terms of genre, in terms of appeal? What kind of artist do you see yourself? Oh, I know we ask you who is Carlyn, but you give us a whole bunch of stuff. But I want you to now talk about Carlyn XP. Who do you see yourself as?
But when you hear Carlyn XP, you hear the Boo Your Queen, So what kind of question is that?
The thing is, you sing multiple genres of music.
That's the thing. So I would call myself an all-rounder. Like you have cricket sometimes, you have a bowler, you have a batsman, and then you have one that can bat and bowl. You call them an all-rounder. I would call myself an all-rounder, but not so the real definition of booyah. Booyah is a little bit of this element and that element and everything coming together, and sounding real good. I can sing anything you put in front of me. I will try my best to do it 1,000%. And I'm very versatile in what I do. So I would call myself the real definition of booyah. So if you ask me what type of artist I am a booyah artist.
And I like that response. I like that response because a lot of times I hear people talk about, I'm just an artist, or I'm just a musician. Like, yeah. I feel like identity is so important in this music business. Like, even if you can sing reggae and you can sing dancehall and whatnot, at the end of the day, what has you where you are right now is your foundation in booyah music, and that's what you are, booyah artist.
Yeah.
So we're gonna ask you 2 questions in one.
Okay.
And these 2 questions are tricky.
Okay.
I want you to tell me, what song do you think? What is your biggest song? Versus what song do you think is your biggest song?
Is my biggest song?
Yeah.
Whoa. For me, I think my biggest song is Stranger. And I think my biggest song is Stranger. Does that answer the both questions?
It actually does. It actually does.
Stranger for both answers.
But which is your favorite song though? Which is the favorite song that you've ever recorded? The favorite song, your favorite song.
Favorite song.
And
I think that would be Don't Stress Me Out. Don't stress me out.
So correct yourself.
So my biggest song would be Stranger, but the song that I think is the biggest one is Don't Stress Me Out.
Exactly.
Right. Because an artist's favorite song of himself may not be the song that your fans like the most.
My fans love Bumper Scare. Let me tell you.
Oh
about
my
it. If
God.
I come on and I don't sing Bumper Scare, it was not a good show at all.
I'll tell you, right? In the comments now, everybody commenting Bumper Scare.
Everybody
commenting
Bumper Scare.
That's what I seen right now. Bumper Scare, Bumper Scare. So.
Oh my God. I cannot see the comments because I have my screen all full. But oh yes, you see what I mean? You see, I didn't even know that. And if I don't sing Bumper Scare, I don't. Oh my God, I will not have a good night. I will not hear the end of it. Then my inbox is gonna be going wild with disappointments that I did not do Bumper Scare. So I guess my biggest song might be Bumper Scare Hardly.
Yeah, but with that said, I'll tell you, my biggest song of you is Foreigner. I love that song. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. Trust me, that's a proper track.
Yes.
I like it a lot.
So Hadley, what's your favorite Carlyn XP song though? I know what Dwayne's on is. He just said Foreigner.
Boy.
My eyes on you, Hadley.
You see, I can take people. The song that I always like to hear you sing the most, to be honest, was Take Me Away. But that was a fanatic song.
Yeah.
That was a fanatic song. Take Me Away.
Yes.
But
that was a good song too though.
Right. But it was still you singing it. It's still you who wrote it, so it's still your song.
Right.
But right now, Foreigner for me.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. I feel
why are you song disappointed?
I don't know. I don't
even know.
I feel like that song you just did it all. You know, it's like it was the hardcore bouillon with the sweet lyrics, and then you didn't just allow Ed-I to do his French thing. You was part of it. You know, you spoke the Creole.
Yeah.
Bouillon.
Yeah, exactly. You
understand? So it's like you didn't just do a song with Ed-I where you did your verse and then he did his verse and whatnot. You actually harmonized with him, like. And to me, when I heard that song, I was like, yo, that track. But the song that I like to hear you sing the most is, for some reason, Take Me Away.
Take Me Away. Okay, Hadley, I'll take you away. I shall take you away, Hadley.
Make sure you bring me back before curfew.
I know, right?
So with that said, right? So you mentioned Cornell earlier on, and for anybody who's not familiar, Carlyn is married to Cornell Phillip, right? Who's one of the biggest musicians in Dominica, currently and historically. So what does it feel like to be married to, because at the time you said, right, you guys were seeing each other, whatever that means.
Yeah. Right? I saw him, he saw me. We were seeing each other.
Speaking like an American.
Seeing each other. They were dating. So what does it feel to be married to, that guy? How does it feel?
Oh God. I don't know. Are you talking about like just being married to him, or are you talking about
no
everything, or working with him while we're married? Or
I'm talking about everything, because one of the things that kind of stand out to me was Hadley said you got no preferential treatment.
None whatsoever.
Right. So that could have been something that a lot of people maybe would have come and saying, well, me and you together, so you're supposed to treat me a certain way and blah blah blah.
Right.
And obviously you're still there, so you didn't have that kind of mindset. So with that aspect of it and knowing what he's capable of and what he's done and who he is, how do you feel about all of that? And are you comfortable, for instance, if you're recording a song, do you say, well, no, Cornell, I don't like that, or is that the dynamic between the two of you?
I mean, being married to him, I think we know our boundaries. We respect each other and we respect each other's work or each other's experience. He might bring the old school flavor to if we're doing something, and I might bring the new school flavor to it, and this is where the music comes in, and then it will sound like you have a little bit of the old school and a little bit of the new school. you know? So we respect each other. We know that if we're doing something as husband and wife, we're doing something as husband and wife. If we're working, we are working. You know, right now we are colleagues, you know, and knowing the line, knowing where to put that line in between work and home, business and personal, it's very important, you know, because sometimes I might want to do something and then I can tell you, I mean, I sometimes I do get like that and feel like I'm your wife and you should be, you know, listening to what I'm saying, or, you know, but when I sit back and I think of it and I know, okay, Carlyn, he's a business person right now. He's been in the business for how many years, you know, so he knows what he's talking about. You know, I just have to sit down and, you know, like, I mean, yes, I am allowed to put my input in, you know, but at the end of the day, you know, you want to respect his experience and trust that he knows what he's doing.
Okay. So when we step into the studio, it's not Cornell Phillip and Carlyn Xavier Phillip. It's Carlyn XP and Fingers.
And Fingers, yeah.
Right.
Fingers, the producer, and
Right.
Carlyn XP, the artist. So
Yeah.
we're going to work right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
When we step out, we can go back to Babes and Honey and them kind of nice names there.
That's right. That's right.
That's good. So
Somebody saying something, Hadley. I see you watching your screen.
somebody
tell me what they're saying, you know.
Somebody said these two were made for each other.
Oh my God.
That's what somebody said.
I think so too.
In the chat.
So maybe the good working dynamics, the good working relationship brought us to just like, hey, we work good together in the music. Why not just work good together in the personal life? You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
So with that said, right? So about what, 11 weeks ago now, you decided to start going on 12, right? You decided to start musical therapy. Right?
Yes.
So who?
Yes.
No, I don't want you to lie to me. You know, I'm gonna ask you a question. Whose idea was that, and how did it come to fruition?
Oh God. Well, I will tell you, it was Cornell's idea, not to do musical therapy, but to go live. You know, to do a live show. I mean, it was Corona time. We were under lockdown. You know, we wanted to keep in touch with our fans, you know, let everybody know that Carlyn XP, well, C Squared is still around, you know. I mean, we live together. We have all our equipments. We work together. So let's just go live, you know, and that was supposed to be a one-time thing. And then after we did that one-time thing, we got a lot of messages from, you know, everybody, you know, young, old, middle age, and everybody was just excited and they were so thankful and they were so happy and they were so relieved and they got some therapy and some of them were at their breaking points and we had persons calling us crying, like they were so depressed and they had lost their jobs, you know, they were stuck inside their homes for how many days, weeks, whatever. And that one show brought so much joy and meaning to their life. You know, so Conan and I was like, okay, we cannot just do that one and leave the people hanging, you know? And the people were like, we're leaving now for a Sunday afternoon, you know? So we did it. It was supposed to be a one-time thing, but again, because of my driving force, because of our driving force, which is the fans, you know, we just had to keep going and going. And now on Sunday, we will be on volume 12.
Wow. Volume 12.
Volume
12. So
yes.
so how you think this is something that you're just gonna keep going to volume 1,000 or?
Well, I mean, it was supposed to be one, but we ended up going, and I mean, people are still fighting Corona. You know, we have a nice little following in America, you know, and they're dealing with Corona, they're dealing with the protests, you know, all the killings and so on and so forth. And it's something to take their minds off of everything that's going on the outside. You know, they cannot neglect our mental health. And this is what musical therapy is. It's like a therapy. It is a therapy. It's like a drug to help you with to cope with everything that's going on outside and heal whatever it is that you're going with mentally. You know, you forget about everything, you just live life, you enjoy, even if it's 2 hours, 3 hours of some good fun. You know, you feel like you have some life rejuvenating in you again, you know. And now that we're starting to open up again a little slowly, you know, slowly but surely we get in there, and the numbers are going down. Well, on our end in Dominica, the numbers are down right now. So we are opening back up, and you know, business places, and soon enough the clubs and so on are going to open out. I think it's something we'd still want to continue, but maybe not so much on a large scale. You know, like if we could do it maybe once a month or twice a month or something like that. But for now, we'll keep doing it every Sunday until things get back to some sort of normalcy again, and then we'll see how often we can do it.
And listen, I could tell you that a lot of people, including myself, really enjoy it on a Sunday afternoon because
thank you.
You know, I like, for me, I could only speak for myself, right? I was going to work, you know, and I was leaving work at sometimes 6 o'clock, you know, 5, 6 o'clock, and then I'm on my way home, you know, I'm enjoying the music, and it make my drive, which is like an hour, right, make feel like maybe half hour, right?
That's some good company right there, you know.
Yeah, man, you know, it's definitely great. I mean, I see everybody on the Zoom and all that stuff. So I think, you know, until you guys get to a point where it's either too much work for you or you know, something, you guys could keep it going.
Yes, definitely. And we don't want it to reach a part where countries are opening up again, and you know, now that Carlyn XP is the talk of the virtual world, you know, everybody now has an idea who Carlyn XP is, and everybody wants her now to come to their country, or you know, to be in their fete or whatever the case might be. I don't want my people, my virtual people who don't go to fetes and so on, and they're enjoying the musical therapy, to feel left out. Also, now that the place is open, y'all are neglected. No, I will still be there with you guys. Maybe not every Sunday, but I will be coming back now and then, you know, to just give you that little Carlyn XP. You know, remember the musical therapy that you love so much? I'm still here.
Yeah, man.
And let me just read a comment that one of our viewers just posted. She said, I remember being sick in bed on a Sunday with COVID, depressed, short of breath, fevers, and feeling all alone. I ended up clicking on musical therapy. Thinking of what you did for me that day only brought tears to my eyes, but I'll be forever thankful. So you see?
And you're reading that, and my heart is just like filling up, and I'm trying not to cry because I'm live. You know?
Cry, man, cry.
It's okay,
cry.
because as an artist, I think that is what you should aim to do. That is the impact you should aim to have on people, not just for people to dance to your music and sing along.
Yeah.
But it's what you do is supposed to inspire people. It is supposed to touch people, especially when they're at their lowest point. If people can only dance to your music when they're out having fun.
Exactly.
Yo, somebody said, I went to the Caribbean march against police brutality and racism on Sunday, and I'd be damned if I was caught in Brooklyn when therapy started. See? So trust me, it's something that a lot of people, man, including myself, and I know Hadley because I see him running all across the Zoom.
No, I while on this
you're not gonna think, right?
Yeah.
I see, you know, trust me, it's a lot of a thing that, you know, something that a lot of people enjoy.
Yeah, it is. And like I said, it's for everybody, you know, even the youngest 5-year-old can enjoy it, to the eldest. Connor's mother is 92, and she comes out dancing, and you know, she looks forward to her Sunday therapy. And even if she have a front row seat, you know, she still goes on her phone to look at it. And she's right there with us.
Yeah, because she want to be part of the virtual thing, because that's what it is.
That's part of it. Yep. That's a big part of it. Yep.
I had this 65-year-old lady send me her video, and she was, oh my God, she was celebrating her birthday on musical therapy. And I want to be like her when I grow up. Seriously.
but it's
like,
good.
If I can do this, if I can do this to a 65-year-old, like, I'm feeling really good.
It's good that you the artists have taken up the initiative on doing your own thing, and that's something that we're going to come to. We've seen in recent times, well, it's been happening in Trinidad for a while on a larger scale, where artists no longer wait for that phone call.
Right.
You know, they no longer wait for that phone call for a promoter to say, yo, I have a gig for you. What is your price? Or the most famous one, that's what I can pay. You know, and it's trickling down into Dominica right now with, let's say, for example, Signal Band has Lumination, Triple K now has Mega Monday, and for the past 2 or 3 years now, we have the Carlyn XP Showcase.
Yeah.
And for those of all you who don't know what the Carlyn XP Showcase is, it's Carlyn's show event during the Carnival celebration. And if you at home, maybe a couple of days before Carnival, you all should check it out. But my question is, why is it so important, more than ever before, for artists to take that initiative and, to a certain extent cut out the middleman and do their own shows? Because it's something that's been happening a lot, and we pick it up in Dominica. Tell me, why do you think it's important for artists to do that?
I mean, I'm going to talk from my personal experience, where I've been putting in the work, you know, and producing songs and working hard and promoting myself, you know. And sometimes you sit down and you wait and you expect people to see the work that you have been putting in, you know, and you're sitting home and you're waiting for that phone call to say, yes, you're on this show, and yes, you're on that show. And I think I've gotten to a point where I'm just like, okay, I don't think I should sit back anymore and wait for somebody to call me, like you said. You know, I'm going to put on my own show. I'm going to keep pushing myself, you know, and not sitting back and waiting for somebody to call me. You know, and even when you're having, you hear somebody having a show, nothing wrong in calling a person and say, hey, I hear you're putting on this show. Is it possible for me to get on that bill, or, you know, on that show or whatever? The most the person can tell you is no, you know. But at the same time, sitting home and just waiting for Hadley to call me, or waiting for Dwayne to call me to put me on the show, that not gonna get you anywhere.
Yep.
You know, so people have to pick up themselves and decide, even if you're going to make a loss at the end of the day. I mean, nobody wants to make a loss, you know, but you're pushing yourself, you're working, and one day, by God's grace, all that hard work is definitely going to pay off. You know, so you put on your own show, you get a couple other artists that are upcoming, that are, you know, rising with you, and you showcase them as well. This is what Carlyn XP Showcase is. You know, we get all sorts of different artists. You know, one year I had ladies only, last year I had men only, you know, so you showcase the different artists that we have in Dominica. You know, you showcase the DJs, you know, lights are on showcase, stage is on showcase, sound system is on showcase, you know. So when you hear Carlyn XP, it's not just Carlyn XP that's on showcase, you know, on display. You displaying the whole production is on display, you know, the cameraman, everybody, the dancers, the engineer, everybody is on display, you know. So you don't just say, I'm going to push myself and I'm going to do my own show as well. When you're doing it, if you can lift yourself and you can lift somebody with you, by all means, you do it.
And that I think is important, because you said it, and then somebody just said something about knowing your value. And I think, I don't want to bash on promoters, but from my experience, and we all know, a lot of promoters just trying to make the quick buck.
Yeah.
While you, the artist, really trying to make that money, but there's something else behind it. There's a passion. There's a passion that you want, that you want to unleash. There's a message that you want to give. And so it's also good that you see value in not just yourself, but in the other artists as well. You know, too often, and I think that's a problem we have in Dominica. I feel it's getting better. But it's a problem that we've been having in Dominica, where every band or every artist is for themselves. And we, instead of forming relationships with each other, we form relationships with promoter. So when the promoter call you for that gig and you tell him my price is $10, that one will go over there and say, I can do it for you for $8.
For $5, yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
I think seeing value in each other, because if we cut out the promoter, each of us can make that $10 now. You know? So I think it's a very important thing, and I hope the artists and bands out there back home really try to create their own events and bring in each other instead of just depending on that phone call.
On the phone call, that may never come anyway.
That may never come. Because but look at right now, no phone call going to come, but you're doing something.
Yes. Yep. Definitely.
Yeah. So one thing, even like, I mean, for us that live in the US, right? Because you said on Musical Therapy, you have quite a few fans in the US and people who tune in to watch. You know, one of the things that I've always thought is that the access to the music, right? The access to the music is a big thing. And I'm seeing that a lot more now where, you know, like, for example, Sheldon and you, and, you know, I see some of Asa's songs and some of these guys, Triple K songs on Spotify, iTunes, you know, other than just having YouTube and, you know, people just randomly uploading your songs and stuff like that.
Right.
You know, do you think that is something that in Dominica we need to work more on? Because, you know, for access to music, for example, your showcase, I mean, because I know hardly I got to listen to it, and you know, I want that for me to listen to. Like I said, I have to drive an hour to go work and an hour to come back. So it's good for me to have these things, you know, and not just me, but you know, anybody who's in similar situation. You know, what do you think about that?
Right. It could be a good thing and it could be a bad thing, you know, because sometimes the production that you have during a live may not be the production that you want, you know, other people out there having, you know. And again, too, it's a way of the artists making some money, you know, off of their music, you know. So not just having the live shows, or you could easily download it, I believe, you know, you could easily download the shows, but you would want to, it's a way of supporting the artist. If you could go and get it on iTunes, you know, you could go and get it on Google Music, on Amazon Music, on, you know, the Bandcamp, all the major download sites, you know, and it's a way of showing, I appreciate you keeping me company for an hour to and from work. I can buy your song for 99 cents. To keep me company, you know, on my drive to work and from work, you know. I mean, so it could be easily accessed. I mean, once it's on YouTube, once it's on Facebook or so, it's easy to access it, you know. But just for you as the consumer to show a little appreciation, you know, to the artists and, you know, for their work, their hard work and the efforts and so on, I think you would rather go and get it on iTunes or you know, all the other major download sites, you know, for simple pennies that will count.
And it's amazing now doing brought up that question, because I had something similar to that, which I will still ask, which is so I got a clip of a video of a Dominican artist speaking of one of his songs that was used, that is online, but it's not online through him.
Right.
Someone took his song and uploaded it, and let me be the first to say it's wrong. You don't take somebody's intellectual property and put it up for sale.
Right.
But one thing that hit me was the idea of you, the artist, putting your rubber stamp on your work even before it's out there.
Before it's out, yeah.
Even before it's out there. And I think that's something that you and Cornell have mastered so well, that everything is registered, everything is copyrighted, it is uploaded to these sites under your name. So by the time it's out there, even if the audio file can be sent to somebody, that person cannot use it to generate any sort of income that you don't know about. And I want you to just let our artists back home know how you guys do that. How do you get your music registered and copyrighted and put out there? Because I feel like it's wrong to do, but I also feel that sometimes we just put out our music. We just put something on YouTube and we figure out that's it. And then when somebody else uses it to do something, then we get mad. How do you guys ensure that that doesn't happen to you all?
Well, first and foremost, we record the songs. We have a proper production of the songs. And before we even put it out, like you said, we ensure that we copyright it. You know, we ensure that everything, all the label, all the stamps, all the logos, everything that has to be Carlyn XP or Imperial Publishing is there on the music. You know, we are registered with a copyright company, you know, and that's one of the things that most of the artists here, you know, we are not registered. You know, I get flagged for playing my own songs because I'm registered with a copyright company.
Oh, wow.
You know, and they're protecting my songs. You know, they're protecting my property. They don't know if it's Carlyn XP that playing it, you know, but they hear it, so they're blocking it. You understand?
So that explains.
Register.
So that explains
you
why your live's cut off, right?
Yes, yes. You have to register with your copyright companies. You know, make sure that your property is registered, it's copyrighted, and you know it is under the brand that it is supposed to be. You know, so by the time somebody else decides to go and make any kind of you know, they try and take it and claim it as their own, there will be the instant stop to tell them, hey, that's already registered on the, you know, the proper labels and whatever what have you, you know, so somebody else cannot take it. You know, I mean, there are still people who would go through a whole lot of lengths to, you know, still try and do something, you know, but I really want, let's just, as what I want to tell the artist though, let's do it the proper way. You know, it's not just putting out a song. Oh, we have bumper scare, you know, you're having a live song. Like, for example, during musical therapy, you know, people were wondering about why Carlyn have so much energy, what you singing, you know, and we just like, is the water, is the booyah water, you know, and then I just started chanting the booyah water, me looking good and proper, you know, and right away, everybody is now singing the booyah water, you know, under the live, and, you know, it's something they're looking forward to. I could have easily just put out something fast and say, oh, is the booyah water? No, but we're going through the right channels. I'm going to produce a proper song for you guys. I'm going to register that song. I'm going to copyright that song and the booyah water, by the way, which I've already done, you know, because some people, you know, they might be quick on their feet, you know, but I quicker than them. As soon as I say it, I'm like, ooh, let's go. Lawyer, copyright, one time, boom. So those of you thinking, too late for all already. You know, you get your thing copyrighted one time, you do it, you follow the proper channels, and you put out something. So when all you hear the booyah water come out, you know, the booyah water is out there, and your thing is well copyrighted. You know, your song is under the proper label, under the proper banners, and nobody can try to do any kind of magic with your songs or your property.
Thank you very much for putting this out there.
They tell you, do the magic with yourself, eh?
Right. Exactly.
So let's kind of take a little segue here, right? So I'm going to go back all the way to the start of the interview where you mentioned you're a registered nurse.
See back now.
Right? So is that something that do you still practice as a nurse? Are you still involved in that? And if not, why not? And what was that decision process like?
Well, first, I still do practice now and then, because sometimes there might be a shortage of nurses on a particular ward, and then maybe the matron or the ward sister would call me and say, Philip, are you available? Can you do a session for us or so? And I would go back. I love going back, as long as I'm available. I love to go back and practice, and it keeps me in check, because medicine is evolving every day. So you learn something new every day. Yep. I decided that I really wanted to do music full time, because being a full-time mom, being a full-time wife, being a full-time musician, being a full-time registered nurse, my God, I needed a clone.
It's a lot, yeah.
I needed a clone. And then music was the thing that I always wanted to do. I mean, I got to do the nursing. I fell in love with nursing, just the same thing that the music is doing to people right now, making them feel so good inside is the same thing I had when I was doing the nursing, seeing that person coming sick and leaving and thanking you, nurse. And, I still have people meeting me, if I go out or something and they say, nurse, remember when I admit you on Alford Ward? I'm paying for your food, I'm paying for your drinks, I'm paying for whatever it is.
Oh, wow.
You give people that kind of warm feeling, the love and so on. This is why I really love the nursing. It broke my heart that I had to leave it, but something had to give.
Yeah. I understand.
Something had to
For
give.
sure.
And there was certain other conditions that I won't disclose, that why I left the PMH. I am still a registered nurse, guys. So, some people might say, oh, you're not a nurse again, man. Yes, I am very much a nurse. I am a registered nurse. I just do not work at the PMH no more,
Okay.
So I decided to leave some 4 years ago and pursue a full-time career, because trust me, if you say you're a musician and you're just doing it after your 8 to 4 or your 9 to 5 job, you're not there yet. Because the amount of work you have to push as a musician, you cannot do it with anything else. You just have to do it full time.
Yeah, I could definitely understand that. I guess, it's what back to the old saying, right? You could either be a jack of all trades, master of none, right?
Yeah.
So that, that I guess that old adage comes back. But in with that said, what in the next, let's say, 5 to 10 years, what do you see yourself as an artist, right? I mean, like you said, you kind of took a backseat on the nursing stuff to focus more on the music. So where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years as an artist?
5 to 10 years. Well, thank you. I don't know if that might sound good, but thank you to Corona. A lot of people got to know who Carlyn XP is now and wondering why they haven't heard of this young lady before. So I guess I could see some light in the end of that Corona tunnel, that now a lot of people are aware. A lot of people know what Carlyn XP has to offer and looking forward to having Carlyn XP, entertain them in their own homeland. So in the next 5 to 10 years, I see myself doing bigger things. I've been to Belgium, I've been to Guadeloupe, I've been to St. Lucia, I've been to St. Kitts, I've been to different places where I performed, but now I want to go out where Carlyn XP is a regional name. Carlyn XP is an international name. When you hear Carlyn XP, you have, let me see, 1 million followers, something of that. I just want to be out there, not just in Dominica and everybody's loving it. And that's what I'm working towards, becoming that international artist, and hopefully when I get there in the next 5 years, by the next 5 years, I will be able to take other Dominican young female, hardly leave me alone, but I'm stressing on the female artists.
That's okay.
I'm taking them with me all around the world. We're going together and put Dominica on that map.
I'm totally for it.
That's a big deal, Sorry, hardly one more thing.
Yes,
there's a big deal because even up here, in the rap and hip hop, you always have the women who come out and eventually they get beef and they can't get ahead and can't get along and stuff like that. So that's really interesting that you are looking to bring along people who look like you, right, in the genre. I think that's very good,
because I may bring a certain dynamic to the table and a lot of people will love it, and a lot of people, it will touch somebody's heart. Somebody else might have another dynamic that they may bring and they will touch somebody else's heart too, in a different way. They will bring their own dynamic to the table and, we can go out and touch many lives together.
Well, and people know me from going live and speaking my mind. So I'm a little bit more tamed here.
You better be tamed.
But this is something that I've been saying that we lack in our music industry in Dominica. And let me say, primarily the bouillon music industry. Everybody is trying to get ahead. And even when they eventually do get ahead, they don't turn back and try to pull the next person with them. And it's I don't care if it's a female artist that you take. I don't care if it's a male artist that you take. I don't care if it's one or if it's two. The fact that you are where you are right now and you already thinking of dragging somebody else with you. Like, for example, we got to know, when we knew Marshall, we didn't know who Famanapi was. We didn't know who Patrice was. We got to know Patrice and Famanapi through Marshall. We got to know Teddyson John because of him moving around with Kess.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's important for us to remember that we are getting old. Our time will come for us to get off that bandwagon. And we need to ensure that we get people on it while we're on it to take the reins. But we're about to close, and I'm going to ask you one more thing. We spoke about Carlyn XP, the nurse. We spoke about Carlyn XP, the music, the artist. And then we spoke about musical therapy. But musical therapy has brought out something that a lot of us seem to not really pay attention to it, but it has given you the opportunity to give back. Every day, every Sunday, people donate.
Yeah.
I mean, you artists, that's what artists do. You have to pay and you have to find ways to make money. So even if you come in there and you're live on Facebook, people have to understand that, hey, it would be nice to donate. But you don't just take that money people donate and say, hey, Cornell, we make a $500 today. Let's go and put that in the bank account. You know, you don't do that. You now do charity. You give back. So can you tell us a little bit? We're running out of time, but can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I mean, when the corona came out, nobody was looking to stay home and, you know, lose their jobs and, you know, not having anything to do and don't know where the next meal is coming from and whatnot. So I decided that since and the donation and the tip and so on was a thing that I didn't want to do. And Hadley, you know that personally, you know, you yourself was even upset with me that I didn't want to do donations. And so I'm like, I just want to be here entertaining people, enjoying myself, letting people enjoy themselves and so on. But it was the folks who were calling and saying, we want to donate to you. We don't care what you say. You know, we want to give you a little something. We appreciate what you're doing. It's very valuable to us. So we want to donate something to you, you know, and we're here giving out to people, you know, people who are in need as well. And I always maintain that once the good Lord has blessed me, I am going to reach out to somebody else in need. You know, we started off with the kids at the Girardel Primary School. You know, some of them were, everybody's doing school online now at home. Some of them, they didn't have any devices. Some of them, they didn't have internet. You know, we couldn't do both, but at least we could do something. You know, on Mother's Day, we reached out to some of the mothers single moms, you know, who through the welfare division, you know, I got a few names of moms who are really in need, you know, and we reached out to 4 of them. You know, we gave them little hampers. I had the help of ACS, Shillingfords, you know, I had the help of Signman, Campbell's, Brandsmack. You know, they helped us, you know, to give back to the community, you know, and I just believe that if you can be blessed, you know, in whatever way you're blessed, once you can help somebody else, it will go a long way, you know, because like you said, we could have just gotten the donations and say, oh, good, we got an extra $500. Let's just bank it and finish with that. No, if we can keep 250 and give somebody else the 250 or somebody else, you know, that is in need and help them, I am down for that 1,000%, you know, and of course, it's not going to stop there, Hadley. You know, it's not going to stop there for me.
I know. I know.
As much as I can get, I will definitely be giving back.
Okay, so we're going to let you give the last words and then Dwayne will close and introduce our guest for next week's episode. So can you tell us where can we get your music? Where can we get your merch? You know, and any last words that you have for the viewers or for musicians out there, anything that you can say before we close?
Okay, well, first of all, guys, I just want to thank you all for having me on Talk the Ting. I cannot believe it was just for an hour. I don't really like to talk much, but when I start, I don't stop.
Hold on. Since you said that,
you want to stretch it?
No, I have a question for you.
Let's go.
Tell me.
So, in terms of writing, where do you get your inspiration? And first of all, the first question is, do you write all your songs? And if you do, where do you get the inspiration? And if you don't, how do you go about selecting a song that was written for you?
Well, I write most of my songs, right? I write most of my songs, like 9 out of 10 songs I would write myself, right? There are a few artists that I work with, like Mikkel, Too Greedy. He would have a song and he'd say like, Carlyn, that one sounding like you, and he would send it for me and he'd say, take a listen to it and tell me what you think, and if we have to tweak the words or whatever, we would come up with that. I have worked with Clement John Baptist. Clement, everybody know him as Bambi. Yes, Bambi writes. So he's a great writer, and singer. When you see he gets in his mode.
Well, maybe the only person that know Bambi as Clement John Baptist is you and his wife,
I think so too. Cornell puts in a word or two here or there. Who else have I worked with when it comes to writing? Yeah, I think that's about it. Just a handful of people, And when I write,
David Terrell.
Oh yes, David. Yes, Dave. Yes, I worked with Dave on the writing as well. And
but you almost make Dave vex there. You don't call that man.
Let me tell you about it.
No, but I was waiting for you to not call his name from to call Dave.
I can imagine. And the inspiration comes from, sometimes I might see something, and I just feel like, oh, I can put that in a song. Sometimes I might be feeling a certain way. And sometimes I just come in the studio, I put on if I have the beat first, I put on the rhythm and I just vibes with it. I put on my phone on record and I might just say things, and then when I go out and I go back and I listen to it and I say, oh, that sounded like something that can, it can work and I can use that. And, I just build on it and whatever, but for the inspiration for the praise came from deep within, my whole Corona situation and what we were dealing with. And, that was, that song just puts me on a next level right there.
So since you don't mind the time, we asked you about where you want to see yourself in the next 5 more years.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you what I want to see you do in the next 5 more years.
Okay.
I want to see a song with Carlyn XP and Shelly.
In the next 5 years?
No. Sooner than later, eh? But
I was wondering, what are you talking about?
I want to see a song with these two people, Carlyn XP and Shelly, because couple components of how you go about writing a song is similar to how he goes about writing, which he told us in our first episode. Yeah. Sometimes you get the beat, sometimes something you see inspires you,
right?
A situation. So I think the two of y'all would work very well together. So just like how Nadia Batson was publicly calling out Voice to write a song for
You're
her,
calling me out now.
I'm calling you and Shelly out sooner than later to put a song together.
I'm gonna call you out, Hadley. I'm calling you out on the rhythm. That's for calling me out. I'm calling you out on producing that rhythm. So when you send us the rhythm, we will write the song.
Okay, we have something for you.
I throw it right back on you.
Fine. RBM always have things up. We always have
very
things.
Well. So thank you guys. Thank you for having me. you know, and I want to thank all those of you tuned in on Facebook, on the Facebook Live. You know, thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the Talk the Ting session with Carlyn XP. Of course, you can look for Carlyn XP on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, on, well, I'm not on Twitter really. I don't really tweet so much. I leave that for the president. But but
China.
I'm on all the
China.
other, yeah. I'm on all the other social media platforms. You know, you could get Carlyn XP Music on iTunes, on Google Music, on Amazon Music, on Bandcamp, on all the major download streaming sites. Yes, and it's on YouTube as well. You know, you could check out my new merch store that we opened up during the Corona musical therapy time. You know, it's shop.carlynxp.com. If you want a Carlyn XP t-shirt, a mug, a phone case, anything Carlyn XP, you know, and if you want to see something that is not on the store, we are open to every suggestion, you know. So you could go there, you might find a little something, you know, you get a little Carlyn XP merch, and it's all well and good. And of course, I want to say thank you to the people that is behind Carlyn XP. I have a little bird that is always in my ear. Her name is Hagana Dorival, you know, and she's my day one. And you throw in the key, Hadley? She's my day one, you know, she's everything Carlyn XP. Picks me up if I falling down, you know, and I really want to say Facebook worldwide thank you to her. You know, of course, thank you to Cornell. He is always there behind me. And I have found some new friends in Nikki and Nigel. You know, these two are behind Carlyn XP, you know, and they want to see me going places, you know. So thank you guys so much, so much, so much. Obviously, I cannot do it by myself, you know. So I want to say thank you to all of you for pushing Carlyn XP. And we have plenty places for us to go. All right. So when I go in, it's not me alone. I'm taking everybody with me.
That's good. That's good. That's good. So we definitely appreciate you coming on. It was a great conversation. We definitely enjoyed it. I know Hadley was looking forward to this one. You know, that is Hadley God. People themselves.
Yeah, but that's the queen, my boy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But to everybody watching, we definitely appreciate everybody tuning in. Next week, we will be having on none other than the person that Carlyn XP said that she looked up to, Michael Henderson.
Oh, wow.
We'll having on next week.
I am looking forward to that one.
Trust me, we cover in some serious grounds, you know. Talk
yes.
You know.
Yeah, man.
Nice.
So next week, 8 o'clock, we'll be having Michael Henderson on. You know, if Carlyn XP is the queen of Boya, Michael Henderson, I guess, is the princess of song, from what I was told. Right?
Yes.
So, you know, that's one person that growing up in Granby, you know, I heard about Michael Henderson a lot. You know, I don't even think she remember meeting me when I was in primary school and me talking to her. I don't think she remember that, but we'll talk about that next week.
I might believe you met her.
Well, you're right. You're right. But next week she meeted me. All right.
Right.
So next week, 8 o'clock, Wednesday, we'll be having Michael Henderson on. And we definitely appreciate everybody tuning in. Anybody who has any, you know, questions for the guests who we're gonna have on, definitely reach out to us, you know, email, Facebook page, Instagram. And you know, we definitely appreciate everyone for tuning in. So with that said, thank you, Carlyn, for joining us. And
before I leave you, I want to just say shout out to my parents, my mom. I know she's always tuned in, and my dad. You know, my day ones. I cannot forget them. They know I love them, but they still want me to say it. You know what I mean? You have to say it. So guys, I will cut all you off.
It's okay.
You know, just to say that. And of course, my friends, my good friends, everybody making noise to me. I'm pretty sure there's going to be somebody that I forget.
You forget,
good
right?
Evening, Gilda. Good evening, Lizzie. Good evening, TC. Good evening, Keisha. I love all you. Can I continue? Okay, we have to go. Goodbye.
XP, is this Dr. Gilda?
This same Gilda.
Okay. All right.
She will be on after Michael. I'm calling her out.
I'm not saying much now, but Thank you very much for calling her out. Eh? Thanks, Carlyn XP, for that.
All right. All right. So thank you, everyone. And we will see you guys next week at 8 p.m. Eastern. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.